Hello? Hello? Mic is kind of working. Maybe a bit too far away to do too much voice. Bop. So, Terrariums, 12 months, 16 months maybe, since this one was done. Let's open it up. If we can. Oh, it's opening the seal. No smell, which is good. Oh my god, that's gone crazy. Lower that down without folding it. Come on, glad drop. Good enough. Couldn't find any tweezers, so open up a new packet. If you can. Okay. So this is some Java fern that started as a tiny little plant. That's what it kind of started as. That's what it is now. It was aquatic, fully submerged, and now it's come out. Because there is a bit of water down here. Got some native maidenhair fern that's just clinging on. What else do we have in here? Rotala, I think, or AR, a aquarium plant. This thing's gone crazy. It's a fern. Can't tell what kind that is. There was rabbit's foot fern in this, I think. So how do we want to tackle this? I think we just start chopping. Get some of the tall ones out. It's interesting that Java fern, just a normal kind, will form into a trident shape when it grows immersed. Not sure if you can see that, but there's 3 blades, kind of 3 leaves, compared to this, which is, that would be one of these leaves. Anyway, there you go. So we'll grab this as well. It's got some cat biscuits in it. Coffee and cat biscuits. Might be a bit too deep, actually. Oh. So we'll have this back. I apologize if my arm gets in the way. So that's, what's this called? Dragon's tongue plant? Or something's tongue? Arrowhead plant? So all the plants in this paludarium were cuttings. There's a bit of moss on that as well. Cuttings from either aquariums or just indoor plants. So this is one of the indoor plants. Which actually, there's more on this now than there is on the plant itself. The original one. So I'm going to have to really cut this back. I think most of the arrowhead plant has grown towards the front. It looks like there's a lot of AR coming to the back. This started as 2 stems, I think. So there's a lot of this one. So it's just going to pull up as well, no need to cut it. It's all growing basically from aerial roots. It's that moist in there. So that is there. I can't pronounce the real name of it. I just call it AR. Like something like, I'm going to butcher this, but Alina the Rednecky or something like that. That's its terrestrial form. So there's quite a lot of that. A lot of roots tangled in with moss. The moss is string moss. It's just gone crazy. This thing, I don't think, has been opened for 2 years or longer. Just hack it away. So it's still attached. One little stem. Look at that. So we'll keep that and replant it. Grab the tweezers out of the way. There's more of this as well. So I'll trim it back until it's under the roof, and then we'll go from there. Just to see where everything is. A lot of roots just growing in the air. It's that damp in there. Of course, not sure if that's coming up on the camera, but there's a rock just there, which the plants have been propping themselves up on. So we got a fern's frond just then. Looks like it's a self-spored. I was going to think it was rabbit's foot fern or hare's foot fern, but that looks a bit too thick to be. So this is all growing around the front of the rock. There is a little plant coming at the back, so we'll just chop this off. There's quite a few plants that could come from this one. It's got about 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 main stems, which are about I don't know, about 6-7 centimeters. Pretty decent. So this is It's got a root down. There it goes. Covered in string moss. That little dangling white thing is its root, and just at the back, where the scissors are, is where it's gotten the soil. So the root's almost as long as the stems are. It's going to get soil all over my floor. See if I can pick this up with my toe. Nope. Yep. Okay. So there's the fern. It's all coming from the back. Hopefully there are no redback spiders in this. There is the fern. That's the culprit. So that's how it sits. It's got 2 or 3 new frontlets coming up. It's staying relatively small as well, which is quite interesting. Usually they go gangbusters. But once you take them out of the terrarium, they kind of just wilt because they're used to such a humid environment. I will leave that there. There's the maidenhair. Quite a lot of died off maidenhair, tangled with the moss. Which way is which? Of course, this moss started just flat to the ground. Now it's basically to the roof of the terrarium. So I think we just want to cut all this off. Although there is a leaf coming up from there. So we'll grab that. They say with some plants, taking cuttings off the nodes down the stem is better than the new growth at the end of the stem. I wonder if it's the same for this one. So this one's of course attached by a root as well. There it is. So there's 2 more there. Try and go back pretty far. There's one. There's 2. It's almost impossible to pull the dead fern without grabbing a whole handful of the moss. And the maidenhair's stems, or the little The frond is quite wiry, so it tangles very easily with the moss. So this fern here is rabbit's foot fern, I'm pretty sure, and it stayed small as well. So we'll cut some big leaves off the Java fern, or fronds I suppose you'd call them. It's almost a trident leaf now, at stage. Kind of do want to keep some thickness, but it's just can't see what's going on at the moment. So I'll take this one out. Now we can start to make out what's going on. All at the back, it's just completely covered in string moss, like fairy floss of string moss, only contained by the roof. There's another little fern coming up there. Didn't quite get it. It is growing from the moss. Just a bit of soil or detritus. There's another little fern. Usually these self-spored ferns, they go crazy. You can see on this one, a lot of the fronds have rotted, but there is one little frond there and another little one coming. I don't think it's worth keeping. This does look like a rabbit's foot fern though. Oops. So this one would go back in. Oh my god. Can you see that? Look at that. That's crazy. It's like a cobweb of moss. String moss has never been this crazy before. Usually it just grows up the front of the terrarium. String moss. So we'll keep that one there. Some more in here. I think we'll just tuck it in and call it a day. Grab this out. Just want to clean the glass. So there were quite a few pond snails in this beginning, because this cube, I think it began its life as a stowaway snail retirement village. You get snails that come in as eggs on plants, on aquarium plants, and then you can never get rid of them. And they're hermaphrodites, so they just breed and they always maintain a population, but they go out of control if there's too much food in the aquarium. But every time I took cuttings, I would look in the bucket after a water change, which is when I usually do cutting, and there would be a whole lot of snails down the bottom, which I didn't have the heart to throw away. So I'd put them in this. So it's just a cube with some Java fern and a whole bunch of horny snails. And then got sick of seeing snail orgies, so I turned it into this, which was a paludarium. I think the water level went up to here originally. So snails, you can see snails, these white things. Snails that live their lives. There's still some in there. But I mean, it was living their life in this, so the water goes all the way through under the rocks that they can get into, or it was getting tossed. So and then I think a couple of months after I set it up, there was a explosion of nematodes, which are kind of like worms, but they're not related. And there are a lot of different varieties, but the nematodes usually crop up when there's a lot of microfauna they can eat. So you would always see a little white worm, about a ½ centimetre large, just going about their business on the glass. But haven't noticed any of those for quite a while. Almost sturdier on the outside than the inside. Gonna run out of towel. Get around to the sides. There is another little baby Java fern. They grow on the tips of fronds. Where can I put this? Little baby. Another self-spored fern. That moss is so thick. It's like a cushion. It's just sitting. It doesn't have any root system, so it doesn't really anchor itself. So there's the little fern. Grab that. Just a little baby. That is the beginnings. So that's the little organ that gets fertilized, and then that becomes a fern. So it's the pre-fern. There's another one there. What is that? It's a very interesting. Very interesting. Maybe a different kind of moss or something. I would say it's a fern, but it's much different to anything I'm used to seeing. So I'll put it back in and see if it does anything. It's got a lot of algae up where the roof, which is just some cling wrap, was sticking to it. On the outside especially. A lot of algae just there. Of course, slime as well. All that good stuff. But compared to aquariums, maintaining a terrarium or a paludarium, which is very low tech like this one, much, much, much less effort. The lazy gardeners aquarium. Get these on the other line. I haven't seen any creepy crawlies, thankfully, yet. there is a line of, I think it's dry water stain at the top. A lot of algae. That green stuff, slime or algae, algae, however you want to say it. Not LG, like the brand. It's all on the outside, which is quite interesting. Maybe there's more sunlight, or it doesn't get eaten. There is some decaying leaf. All this has string moss up around the edge as well. Grab that away. We want to put some down there as well. So because moss has no roots, it can grow so long as it has access to water and sunlight and doesn't get saturated. Depends on the moss though. Some are or can be aquatic. This string moss started its life as a very compact, flat to the ground. I think it was in quite bright, direct sunlight. And it goes from that into these long strands of hairs, pretty much. It's like a tower, just one cell on top of the other. So that's some there. Ooh, where are we? This thing was once compact. Now it's not so much. It's interesting how plants can take on very different shapes depending on what they're doing. A lot of plants in aquarium keeping are... Oh, there's something. What are you? Nope. Just a bit of stuff. A lot of the plants in aquarium keeping are grown underwater, but in their environment, naturally, they would be growing in periods of underwater and also above water. And the forms that they take can be very distinctive from each other in terms of the colours and leaf shapes and how high they get. So at least two plants in this are so-called aquatic aquarium plants, growing very happily above the surface. Get into here. Always feels a bit violent getting in there and shaking everything up. Especially when you can't tell if it's on the outside or inside of the glass. It is mostly on the outside. I am going to run out of paper towel. So that all got pushed backwards. That'll prop itself up eventually. So we'll put this fern back over here, just let it sit. It's already got entangled. I would like the maidenhair just to take over. Although it does get quite leggy. There is the remnants of some mondo grass. So this is the AR stuff. That's sold as an aquarium plant. It's growing all up the back. Or it was, until I put it out. So we'll put some back in. Tuck it under some moss. Long strands. drying out very quickly. Okay. Just wondering if I should add some water. Might add a little bit. There's a snail right there, going for a little straw. So they're still going strong in here. Fits like a glove. Amazing stuff, cling wrap. Lost a bit of its stick, but it's over 2.5 years old. So you kind of expect that. Try not to knock anything over. Just give it a bit of moisture beneath it. It's better. Okay. Try and move it back without knocking absolutely everything over. Now, if I had another terrarium to go to, I could use all of this, all of these cuttings, but the problem is, once you start using your trimmings in new aquariums or terrariums, you end up with too many terrariums, like I have. So let's see if this thing will slide. Doesn't want to. There we go. Try and get some good position. Oh, it's heavy. Once you can get behind it, it's okay. Sticks in. Oh. Bit of string. And now grab the other one, which is slightly more manageable. Oh. I need another bowl. I don't know why I'm bothering to do this, but see what happens to it. This one slides much nicer. Okay, now you see there's a fern here. That wasn't there 3 months ago. This is what ferns normally do when they self-spore in your terrarium. They go absolutely nuts. Oops. So let's get rid of this fern. There's the maidenhair that we want. Oh, it's a big one. That is a big one. That's not a fern. This is a fern. Try not to destroy any of the maidenhair. Try and get less little damage. Oh, it's a big one. Can't see what's attached to it. Look at that. Trying to get as much moss that came with it as possible. It's beautiful moss, very fine. This might make a good fern as well. Just got to plant it in a pot and put a bag over it. That's a nice, finer kind of fern. I don't have anything to put it in, so I'll pop it in that for the time being. But look at this. This is such nice moss. Very fine. It's like fur. So have a look at what's going on here. There is another fern coming up at the back. tangled in. So I'd say this is about 2 months growth on the fern. It's not going to come. They've taken quite a lot of soil already. It's got a very large amount of roots. Fern number 2. Dirty hands. So this is all Photonia at the back. There is some dead mondo grass. The rock has fallen over. Must have done it quite a while ago. Maidenhair fern. More Photonia. Maidenhair's coming out of the corner. Very scraggly. It's been blocked, starved from light. So it's gone very leggy. Look what's at the back. So I've just taken a lot of moss away. I'll pop that back in. Beautiful moss, that's so nice. It's like petting a dog or a cat. And then we'll grab some of the Photonia. That is some hare's foot fern at the back. Still just sticking on. Very tangled in the moss when I took out that fern. So untangle that. What do we have here? Looks like there's one that's all from the same. Maybe 2 maidenhair plants. There's one there. There's one there. So 3 or 4. There's also a mondo grass still left alive at the back, which is quite interesting that it's the sole survivor. So we'll take some of this. So this is Photonia, or vein plant, is it? Because it's got little veins. But it's a wonderful plant for terrariums. Low light, loves humidity. I've noticed that the white variety, which this one is, tends to get quite leggy compared to the red one, or the pink one. Maybe that's because it can get more energy from the green leaves. It's really going for it. We'll get quite a few out of this one. kind of do want to keep it a little bushy. But if you cut it too high, then it just starts growing from the top again. So it's always a balance between when you want it to look good now or later on. It's taken, since I did it last to get to this stage. Although, having said that, this is quite wild. It's gone nuts. So we'll cut it back quite a ways, because I'm gardening for laziness. There's a bit at the front. So we'll cut this one back. There is some red stuff in there as well, red Fittonia, although it's stayed very small. It's a nice bit at the back, but we'll keep that without trimming it, I think. There's another little fern. Okay. Sounds like an owl. Hoot hoot. Sounds like a flatulent owl. There is another fern I can just see coming out the front as well. I'll pull that out in a sec. Just here. This little thing here will become one of those monsters. This is how they start. A very baby little fern. This has gone through the pre-fern stage, and this is a genuine fern. Will that focus? Goodbye, sir. I have two or three pieces of towel left. Will it be enough? There actually is a bit of mondo grass in the back corner there as well, but it doesn't look that alive. It's interesting how it only took in the back left. I think there was one back right and one in the middle that looked like they're both melted. It's taken 2 years for that to happen. Just getting I'm not sure, outcompeted or too moist maybe, although you can grow it from immersed, so not sure. I mean, the one over there and the one over there you'd think be getting more light than the one at the back that was sitting under the fern. So I don't think it was light, or lack of. Maybe too much. But then that doesn't make sense either. One paper towel. Last distance. I'll aim for the sides. Okay. So we'll plant these back in. See, this one can almost get 2 plants out of this. 2 or 3 actually. It's got 2 stems coming up at the top. So we'll get a nice little background going. I think it will grow towards the center. But if you start from the back, it might create a nice little backdrop. Of course, as well, if it sits up against the glass, the leaves usually melt. So you don't particularly want them growing up the side. But there's just so many of them. I don't want to chuck them away. There's the red one. Beautiful colour. There's also another stronger red variety, which is just beautiful as well. It's planting nice and firmly as well, compared to the AR, which was a much softer stem. So this is the perfect beginner's plant for terrariums. Very easy to propagate. Doesn't get too large, which a lot of terrarium plants like to do. Looking at you, asparagus fern. Oops. Get some more towards the back right. That one, a bit more fickle. I think that one could be cut as well. So when you cut it, it will, the lower part of the cut, it'll start sprouting just above the node. Some people say it forms 2 plants, but I think it depends on the plant. That soil is a bit firmer in behind the rock. Give it a bit of a dink. Could put some of the red plant, the AR, in this one as well, but it does tend to get very bushy from the looks of the other one. So I'm just trimming this one as well. It's gone into 2 stems, so we'll get 3 out of it. There we go. So from few come many. Goes in so easily as well. And as soon as I say that, it's firm soil. I don't think we want any more towards the middle, because it just gets very unruly. So I'm trying to keep it as far around the periphery as possible. It's just going to turn into Fittonia. That maidenhair is getting a bit scraggly. It takes such a long time to acclimatise and then start to go for it. So this will probably knock it back again, having taken the lid off. A few more to go. There is a rock back here, so it's a bit hard to get behind that. Go the other way with the tweezers. I think if it's just sitting in the moisture, it doesn't necessarily have to go into the soil. It's that forgiving. So it'll be a border of white. There's a bit of red in the middle. There's a bit of red in the middle at the back. This is all moss. Betonia on the right side. A lot of it. Now a lot more. What else could you add in here? A few small air plants would be nice. Although I'm not sure how they would adjust. I haven't had much success with air plants in the past, although I really haven't tried that many as well. So I'm just going to lay that one on the soil. There's one on the ground. Now you see me, now you don't. So I'll put this one, I think there's some space around the right. The last one, always the most difficult. Okay. There is a fern back here as well. Grab that out. It's going to take everything else with it. Just rip that apart. Got 4 stems from that. 5 stems. So I put it in each corner. If it'll stay down. Just took something else with it. It's a much less firm stem, so it doesn't like to go into the soil. This may be a bad decision, but it's nice to just experiment a bit. So there's 2 more. It'll grow bushy, but if it stays relatively low, it'd be nice, I think. Of course, the last one does not cooperate. Okie dokie. I'll add a little bit of water. Just a bit. Good as new. So this fern, I'm going to put it in a pot and put a plastic bag over top of it. See if that can transition. The arrowhead, this one. It's a pretty hardy plant. Might leave it in some water for a while, see if it adjusts, and go from there. And the AR is going to get tossed out. But that's been a bit of a stressor getting this done. Because as soon as the ferns start to cloud out all the other plants, it just ends up like this. You get very leggy plants. So it goes through a very honeymoon pyramid-like time about a month after you do it. But I mean, this will be good for another year at least. So there you go. Hopefully, it doesn't knock it out too much. But what did that take? An hour and a half? Just for 2 terrariums? So, 45 minutes each, we'll say. Not too bad for a year or 2 years worth of maintenance. 45 minutes every 2 years. Let's see if this... I'll come a bit closer. there you go. So I think that'll do this one. Finally got that done. Still have everything, all the other terrariums to do. Got a 40 litre half, I'd say half aquarium bowl to completely redo, and then the same sized bowl as a paludarium needs a trim as well. It's just a bit hard to get to, but I think that's the next activity. And then also there's a larger terrarium, fully terrarium, no water. It needs to have a good haircut for its annual maintenance. And then that's all the terrariums done. The vases have been done fairly recently. So, terrarium's done. Good work. Whew, it's hot. First summer day that's actually felt like summer. Not that I'm complaining. Anyway, terrarium's done. Good work. And I think that's about it. So, fairly well. Take care.